Vanderbilt stands among many other schools in the South. It's large, private, and academically ranks among the Ivy League. That's why a groundbreaking interpretation of its non-discrimination policy continues to send shockwaves across educational, religious, and legal circles.
Here you have a top 25 university in the United States, one that's located in the middle of the Bible Belt, that is essentially declaring war on its conservative and Orthodox Christian community on campus.
School leaders call it the all-comers policy. What it means, university clubs must allow anyone to join and run for leadership. Who it hurts, Christian groups that use faith criteria to vet student leaders.
Most religious clubs are that way. We want everybody to come. But to say that your leaders don't have to subscribe to that belief system, what are you left with?
But Vanderbilt University says its policy is intended to encourage freedom of belief and equal opportunity for all. And a number of student faith-based groups support the policy and have already registered for next year.
I don't see really an inherent threat.
Chaplain Mark Forrester says the Wesley Canterbury Fellowship isn't as doctrinally based as other Christian organizations, and that he in fact would welcome a student leader with serious faith questions.
The way I like to advance our mission here, I would say fine by me, bring them on, because I don't mind having a very, sort of rigorous conversation with my students. 26
other religious groups have also agreed to comply with the policy. That means they will receive perks as official campus organizations, as well as the administration's public praise. No one from the administration would talk on camera with CBN News, but its provost recently wrote online, "It is reassuring that many of our current religious organizations understand that our non-discrimination policy poses no threat to their religious freedom." About a dozen campus groups disagree. Some are still in process with Vanderbilt over their faith-based constitutions. Others, like Vanderbilt Catholic, have decided they'll go.
They really are dedicated to getting rid of discrimination on campus, but unfortunately they've taken that way too far, and in trying to combat any possible discrimination, they themselves are actually discriminating against us.
One of the biggest setbacks for these groups being shut out of the campus conversation. It exists not just in class, but through school-sponsored activities and events.
We want to be a presence in the university and just have a seat at the table of ideas.
Vanderbilt Catholic is now deciding what to call itself next year. Other unofficial campus groups are also wondering how hard it will be to rent space for weekly meetings. And many believe missing the fall student activity fair will dramatically affect recruitment.
A college student in the first 6 weeks of his campus life typically gets involved in the groups, the organizations with the people that he's going to be with for the next 4 years of his life.
The situation at Vanderbilt caps a growing trend nationally. For years now, the ACLJ's David French has followed universities that restrict student faith groups.
What's new is the intensity of the conflict here at Vanderbilt and the intensity of the Christian student response to it.
And French believes, like many others, that this story is far from over. State and federal lawmakers may still take action given the millions that Vanderbilt receives in government funding, and other private schools may follow Vanderbilt's lead. In the midst of this storm, some good news. Vanderbilt's non-compliant ministries say they're seeing unexpected growth in students' lives.
So our students actually have been more prayer-focused and been more evangelistic than I think I've ever seen them be.
If you want to share your faith, the opportunity is more open here now than it was probably a year or two ago, just because people are curious. What's the big to-do here?
Another surprise, newfound unity among campus groups committed to the gospel. This year they've all come together for worship and prayer for the first time.
I have seen a movement happen on campus that we wanted, but we were not anticipating.
There's kind of a revival feeling going on right now on this campus, and it's a little exciting.
For next year, these ministries plan to find more creative ways to reach students and say they'll remain as committed as ever to their mission.
We don't believe it's a wise policy long term. We don't believe that it maintains the diversity and integrity of organizations long term. But at the same time, we're going to continue to be who we are.
Reporting in Nashville, Heather Sells, CBN News.